This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas week, everybody.
Hello. Christmas week.
Yeah. It's, I can't believe it's here. It's like Christmas week. And,
it's crazy. Where did this year go?
It's still warm out. It's lovely.
Yeah,
I love it.
Here in the Philadelphias, if you will. I don't know.
Yes.
In the Philadelphia region.
Yes. The
is,
Delaware Valley.
The tri-state area. It is. How many ways can you refer to?
Traffic on the twos.
Yeah. And the Dow is down today. That's what I always think about whenever you'd hear, you'd put that on and you're like, traffic on the two. Then you go and it's like, they come in like, the Dow's down today, the NASDAQ is going. And I'm like, I don't even know. I remember as a kid, like I'd hear that and be like, I don't even know what a Dow or a NASDAQ are, but why are they always down?
I got, hey, hon, I think I have a Dow on my NASDAQ.
Oh, God. Get that checked
out.
out.
Get some penicillin.
No, but hey, yeah, it's like 54 degrees as we're recording this.
It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Dude, this is like, I'm afraid to say it out loud because I don't want to fucking jinx it.
Yep.
So you should go, oh man, this is lovely weather, and then
just started
tomorrow
snowing.
a blizzard. Yeah.
Which you know what? I need to take advantage of this lovely weather. I just got a snowblower. And yeah. By the way, the nickname for my but anyway,
there's an Al Snow joke in there somewhere.
Yeah. By the way, Al is here with us today. He is in the green room waiting.
You made assurances to him on the Top Guy chat.
Yeah, Top Guy chat, which was a lot of fun. Shout out to Ad Free Shows for having me on there to chat with Al Snow. It was awesome. At one point, I felt like I was taking over. Like I was asking way too many questions. Some, the top guys had these awesome questions, and then I would like hit them with a follow up because I just love talking to Al and listening to him talk about wrestling.
So do we, apparently, because he's still in catering.
Yeah, no, and he'll be. He look, I apologized. Sorensen was there. He knows, and Al, assured us that it's fine. He's relaxed. He's having a good time. So
he's got his feet up on
man's
the
booking OVW from our green room.
He's a man of many tasks.
Yeah. But anyway, I got a snowblower. So he should be very comfortable. But
hey, dude, speaking of, it's like I have like 2 snow shovels behind my behind my door, the entrance to my house, for like a year, and it's like it got to be around August. I was like, or no, September. I was like, man, should I put these away? I was like, well, no, I'm just gonna have to bring them back out. Yeah, it's gonna be snow weather soon. So, and then like it'll be April, and they'll still be there. Now I still will have not removed them from behind my door.
They're just a part of your decor now. Just your year-round decor.
If you buy a house in South Philly, I think it's mandatory that you have an aluminum baseball bat behind your door too, as well. So have an
aluminum
baseball
instead
bat
of wood because you don't want it to crack. That first time, you need to make sure you still have it in case.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good.
Though I heard wood. I heard you're beating a person over a parking spot in South Philly. A wood bat's actually better. But,
oh, okay.
Allegedly. Allegedly, I don't want to get sued.
No, when you're beating your if you're okay. Back to the snowblower. Yeah. Oh, but no, what I was going to say about the snowblower is I have to build it. So I bought it. I ordered it. It was delivered in a box.
Oh, you legit got a snowblower.
Yeah, shoot snowblower.
Oh.
So which worked out great. I've been borrowing my neighbor's for 7 years. And his is dead now. So we're going to have a funeral for it at some point. But yeah, the
440.
The snowblower. It was an Eagles. Yep, here it was an Eagles snowblower. So I'm just gonna take my Eagles coffee mug. So he actually said to me yesterday. He's like, I was like, oh man, yeah, I got to build the snowblower. He's like, oh, I was just gonna ask you if you wanted to go in on one, and I'm like, all right, well, you can borrow mine because I borrowed yours for 7 years. So I'm like, you're all right. So, but it's an electric one. It's all electric, so it's battery powered. So you get like 40 minutes out of each battery. It came with 2 batteries. I'm not going to be outside for longer than 40 minutes blowing anything. So, you know. So anyway, but I got to take this warm weather to be out in my garage building it, because you don't want to build it when it's like 30 degrees and you're trying to build. You can't wear gloves when you're, when you're handling your nuts, when you're trying to screw the nut, you know what I'm talking about, the nuts and the bolts. When
this whole show's going to hell, right?
Yeah, when you're trying to do, you can't be wearing gloves. You lose all dexterity. No. But of course, then if it's freezing cold, you lose all dexterity as well.
Yeah, so it's a 50-50 proposition between handling the nuts and working out your mandibles.
Yeah. Oh.
With the
speaking of mandibles,
blowing snow for 40 minutes.
Speaking of mandibles, can I show it? I can't show it from here. I found I took a picture of it. I'll hold this up. This is why you need to go to.
This is why you have to be on. Yeah, patreon.com/Mind of the
Meanie. So I found when I was going through a box recently, apparently I met Mick Foley couple of like a decade and a half ago or something, and I actually also saw Mick Foley 2 weeks ago. Cheap pop, I saw him right there in Atlanta, Georgia. But apparently I had met him at some point, and he signed a Mr. Sacco for me, which I like. Nice. I remember. I just don't know when it was. Like I remember it. I remember it happening. But apparently I got this Mr. Sacco. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And it ended up in a box. This is like seriously like 10, 15 years ago. Well, I found it. I was going through this random box looking for something totally unrelated. And I'm like, what the hell? So I went online and I got one of those, if you're an artist where it's like the wooden hand that you can like change. It just stands up and it's like for people to practice art. You can position it in different ways. They also have the little people that you can do as well. Well, I got the hand, so I positioned it as a mandible claw, and I put, you can see, I put the, awesome. I don't know if you can, there's such a glare, but you can kind of see, I put the Sacco on it. There you go. If I turn it like that,
there we go.
So I put the Sacco on it, and it's really cool. So it just sits there now. And also underneath it, if you look at what looks like just a giant grimace turd, is over here. You can see this big purple thing here.
Grimace turd.
Yes. That is, I bought a rope and I utilized, so I'd gotten all this rope from when I went to 205 Live like 3 years ago. And at the end of the show, I was talking to Charles Robinson after the show. And like down at ringside, and they were ripping the tape off of the, because they would put the tape on top and everything, on the ropes there of the purple tape. Mm-hmm. They're ripping it off, and the one guy ripping it off, he's like, "Who wants it? Who wants it?" I'm like, "I'll take it." And I was like, just kind of joking, He balls it up and throws it to me. He goes, "I don't want to see that on eBay." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'll just throw it out." And then I absolutely brought it home. And 3 years later, I finally bought a rope, and I took the tape and I wrapped the rope. So now I've got like a little like rope from actual rope tape. So,
dude, that's awesome. Yeah,
I was like,
something
that's kind of cool. Yeah. And And if anyone would like to, I still have the rest of the tape here because, I mean, this was enough tape. They ripped the whole thing because they would, to save time, they wouldn't wrap them with the purple. They wouldn't wrap them with the purple. They would, oh man, I feel like Bruce Pritchard. Can you hold on 1 second? Can we pause this for 1 second? Okay.
Yes. He's back,
all right.
guys.
Hi, everybody.
He's back.
We'll talk about that in the next episode. All right. So
I say we leave it all in.
Oh God. Like I'll tell you, it's like when you ever listen to Conrad now or Bruce Pritchard, or like his phone will go and then they just do that fast forward button.
Yeah. I only have to rewind.
There you go. Same sound, right?
Theater to mind, it could be fast forward.
Wow, yeah, I feel like I missed some stuff, so I think we're gonna probably leave that in. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I apologize. I did not want to do that.
It's just me awkwardly, talking to myself, but just reading the chat here.
Yeah, well, it's great. I saw the chat was on fire here, so we're talking.
It's
about
kind of like
rogues.
RJ I felt like RJ City on a Sunday morning having coffee in my underwear.
But I did see you showing off your shirt.
I was trying to show off the back, but
the back looks cool from what I could see. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
So this is your shirt.
Yeah, they did a special one for the basically it's the bottle art for my beard. Go to madcatbeardcare.com, look at the blue spruce, and it's me basically as a cat. If I was a cat, meow.
Which is awesome and horrifying all at the same time. I was scrolling through at one point.
Big blue hairballs.
I saw it. I remember I showed it to my kids, the artwork, because it cracked me up, and they were just like, they're like, what? They were looking at it like, what is this? He looks so weird. And I was like, well, it's him as a cat. And they're probably like, what? They're going to grow up and they're going to go, what was my dad a part of?
They've had the most interesting childhood.
Yeah, it's been something.
My daddy has so many toys.
Yeah. I honestly, so between my daughter bringing my action figure to school and my sister works she's the vice president of this company called Budsies, which we've talked about before.
Yes.
Every time they're working out like a new product line, she will get like the samples sent to her family, So they're trying this new little keychain with it's like a soft keychain with the printed like picture of somebody. So all of a sudden I open up the mail. There's mail addressed to my daughter. I see it come. It's from Budsies. I'm like, what the heck is this? This tiny little package. This little keychain, a soft keychain of my face. So my daughter, of course, goes, I want to put that on my school bag. So now these teachers must be thinking I am such an egomaniac. My daughter goes to school with a little figure depicting me, has my face on a keychain. Like, I said to my wife, I'm like, I don't think, she's like, oh, she really likes it. It's fine. I'm like, it's weird. You can't but then it's great. My son, it's like, oh, do you want the daddy action figure too? No. Okay. That's fine.
Neil.
Yep. But Sorensen, Josh has been fired. You could hear my call. No, that's not true. Where were we?
Well, I'm in South Philly.
Okay.
You're an hour north.
Yeah. What were we talking about before I rudely interrupted us?
I have no fucking clue. But seriously, go to Mad Cat Beard Care.
Mad Cat Beard Care. Awesome people.
Get the blue spruce. It's if you're a lover of cats, it goes to helping cats. I'm a cat person. even though they hate me, or they hate most humans.
They hate everyone.
Bunch of no-selling motherfuckers, but we love them. We love them.
I saw a thing. I don't know where I saw it or I probably didn't read it. I don't read. Can't read. But I mean, I have no idea what those words under me even say.
No.
So, I saw something that where they're like there was a study that was like cats' personalities, if they were people, they'd be like psychopaths.
Yeah.
Based on the way that they act.
It's 4 a.m. Time to run around. You know.
Yeah. I loved, every cat that I had, I loved. But there's an understanding of like, when you have a dog, that dog is your best friend, lives in your house. It's like a little child. When you have a cat, they graciously allow you to live in their home. It's pretty much what happens. But I love cats and Mad Cat Beard Care is doing just such an awesome thing.
My boy Donnie has a cat named Biggie. He named him after Biggie Smalls. And like I've had a love-hate relationship with Biggie because like Biggie's kind of a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're walking, like you go upstairs to take a leak, right? We go over there on Fridays. We have some beers and watch YouTube or whatever. I'm going to go take a leak. And as I'm walking down the steps, a little paw comes out from underneath the banister at the top of the stairs to take a swipe at you. Like, Wah!
And then when she's taking a leak, he jumps into the bathroom. He just points and laughs. I mean, it's what an asshole,
He gets a little kinky. Just,
oh, jeez.
No, just, but I got to the point where, like, this is like 5 years ago. I would just sit there and randomly go and just scream at the top of my lungs, Biggie! But like, worse. And he would get frightened and run up the stairs. It's kind of a dick thing to admit to doing, but he's kind of a dick too. So it got to the point where
it's good that you've stooped to his level.
Yeah, I'm very, very mature. So it got to the point where, like, if I got up to go into the kitchen to get a beer, he would just run.
Oh, man.
Right? He just like he would scamper like a bear, just because he's so big, and everybody would just laugh like, "Oh my God, he's scared." But like, it wasn't until like within the last year that he slowly like like I've stopped doing that, Biggie, and like he's kind of like starting to warm back up to me, kind of like, all right, we're cool again. Like he'll come over and do the figure eight on my legs and pet him. I'll go to pet him. If I pet him too long, he swipes at me like, oh
yeah,
but fucking fat dick. But no, he's cool. He's cool. I love him. I know. I've never had a cat, but I've borrowed several. Just well, like George Carlin says, you go over to somebody's house and you're petting their dog, and for that moment, they're your dog.
Yep.
It's their dog. It's their dog, but he's your dog too. But I love dogs too. I love pets, but when you get a pet, you're getting a minor tragedy. So I don't know if I could deal with that.
Yeah, it can take an emotional toll, but man, we've been going back and forth on getting another. We talked about this a few weeks ago, I think. We've been going back and forth on getting another pet, and it's just tough. So our next door neighbors have 2 dogs, and my youngest, who's about a year and a half, he went over, he saw this dog. It's like a nice old dog, and he just started hugging it. And that dog is like looking around like, what is happening? Because, the kids in that household are 7. They're not coming over and just hugging this, but he just went and he was just giving it a hug. And he said, and like my wife and I are like, God, we really want to get him a pet. But first of all, my wife's like, well, I'm gonna be the one who's gonna have to get up with it and take it out and train it and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, yeah, you are. But I told her, I said, first of all, we're not having a conversation about it. There's no chance of a dog in the wintertime. Right. Nobody is house training a dog in the don't look, if that dog happens to land in your lap in some way and you need to adopt this dog, that's wonderful. But if you're actively looking for a dog to bring a dog into your family,
right,
do not do it in the winter if you live in a cold area. That's just stupid. That's just, so we've discussed the possibility of a cat, and we're actually going to go meet a bunch of cats. There's like a place that like had a bunch, and then we just couldn't get our schedules aligned, and it is what it is. And then also they get you with this. You want to adopt a cat, and they're like this one is a wonderful cat. You're like, oh, I fell in love with it. And they're like, you can adopt it individually or with its two siblings. And you're just like, well, how the fuck now am I supposed to take it away?
Right.
And it's like it would
say
do
goodbye
fine.
to your family, cat.
It would do fine by itself, but boy, does it love snuggling with its brother and sister. And you're like, you motherfuckers, and
you know what you're doing.
Yep. But yeah,
that's so cruel. Just rip them away from their. See, that's another tragedy.
Yep.
It's like a Sophie's Choice type thing. It's,
My
do I
cat,
take one or do I take the whole family?
My cat that I had for a number of years, about 10 plus years ago or so. I was working at a gym, so I guess it was probably like 15 years. I don't know. God, it was probably like 40 years ago. At this point, time's just flying by. But I was working at a gym, and somebody left a box of kittens, like newborn kittens. Not newborn, maybe like a week or two old. In just a box of kittens in the parking lot. And somebody brought them into the LA Fitness where I was working, and they brought it over to the staff. And we're like, look at this. We're like, well, what do we do? And everybody was like, well, I guess anyone want them? Like, we could take them, right?
Yeah.
And so I looked at it, and okay, this was a lot longer than 15 years ago because I was living with my parents at the time. Jeez, this.
All right,
man. All right. So, but whatever. Well, I was living with my parents, and I'm like, well, I can't just come home with 3 cats. Like, I just can't. That's not, something that I'm going to be able to do.
Look what I found.
I'm like, but I can come home with 1. 3 of them, they'd go, you got to call, you got to give them to some place, whatever. But 1 of them, it's like, I can do this. I brought him home in a little box that they shipped the like business cards in.
Oh,
he was so tiny. So I had to put him in a box. I only lived 4 minutes down the road from the gym, but when I brought him home, I punched a bunch of holes in the box, put him in this little box, and sat him on the seat next to me. And
put a little seatbelt on it.
Yeah, and I brought him. I brought him in. I'm like, I remember I called my mom from the car. I'm like, hey, can you just come to the front door and open it for me? I have something I need to bring in the house very quickly. And I like bring it in, and she's like, what is this? And I open it up, or no, before I open it up, you hear the little, and both my parents are like, what are you doing? And then I opened it, and it was like instantly they're like, all right, he's ours now. We're keeping him. But to your point, there were 3 of them, and I had actually claimed a different one at first. I was like, all right, I'll take this one, I guess. And then I went in to check on them in the break room.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were sleeping, and the one in the middle was just had its like paw on one of them, was going back and forth and licking the heads of the other ones. And I was like, I want that guy. There was something about, I'm like, that guy who is taking care of, And then I look at it and go, okay, so the one who's taken care of, then who the hell knows what happened to the other ones? And it always bothered me. I always wanted to know what happened to those because
you have that guilt.
Yeah. But
who's gonna lick my head now?
I know.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Dick.
Yep. Hey, God, who even knows who was licking their head? Build that snowblower. That's what they call a callback.
Yes. I've been getting a lot of callbacks from Scam Likely.
I got a couple scam calls yesterday, like 3 in a row at like 6 a.m. My phone was on silent, so I didn't get them. But
we're both from the Philly area. Are you getting a lot of like? It's like weird. They do a number that's like vaguely close.
First 3 looks like yours.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I got. 3 in a row. The first 3 looked like mine, but the 4 on the back end were each time were different.
Yeah.
And it always comes from Ambler, Pennsylvania, which is very weird because I never lived in Ambler. I lived Ambler is in Upper Dublin where I grew up, but I lived in Dresher.
Yeah.
So I guess my phone number may have just been assigned to, to Ambler. I don't know, but it always just comes up Ambler, PA. And then it has, I'm not going to say my first 3 digits of my phone number, but it has those first 3 digits, and it's always so now, at least at this point, I just ignore it because I know it's a work, but
Yeah, it's just weird. Like I'll get like a call, and because me and Mrs. Meanie, we have similar phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, it's like it's almost trying to trick me into thinking a loved one's calling me. Like, oh, I'll, that's, like that number looks familiar. Let me pick up, and it's whatever it is. And
no, can I ask you a question?
Of course, I what's that?
Oh, no. Continue.
Oh, I thought you said you asked me a question.
I was going to, but no, finish your thought. You said, of course.
No. No, of course, I never check my voicemail. So like if I miss a phone call from somebody I really want to listen to, then I have to go on my voicemail and listen to 17 messages or delete 17 messages from like all these spam callers, just to listen to a voicemail from somebody I actually want to listen to. And it's always they never know when to answer the phone. It's like it's like they're halfway through the message before the beep or something like. And it's like, legal actions may have to be taken on behalf. It's like I'm certain if this was a legal situation, you would have sent me certified mail. So fuck you.
I think. I was gonna ask with you and Mrs. Meanie. So your phone numbers, are they similar on the last 4 or similar on the first 3?
First 3.
See, it's interesting because my phone number, my siblings' phone numbers, not my brother because he lost his phone. And back in the day when you lost your phone, you needed a new number. You couldn't,
Yeah.
But this was 2002 when he lost his phone. But when we first got phones in 2001, we got them on I was a senior in high school and got it on a family plan. So to this day, my phone number, my mom's phone number, my sister's phone number, the last 4 all match. And they actually match our old house phone, the last 4 of that, which was something I think they were able to like pick, I think in the beginning.
Yeah.
But to this day, my phone bill still has my mom's name on it. Because originally it was, my mom hasn't paid for my phone since 2001. I don't know, But she signed up for all the stuff. When I got married, I was like, okay. So my wife and I were going on the same plan, and I'm like, hey, do you guys think you could get my mom's name off of here? Because it's kind of ridiculous at this point, and they're like, oh, well, she'd have to come in to the store to like do it with her. We're like, what? So then by the time we were in Florida with her, my wife and I were getting ready to buy a house. Right. And they go, well, yeah, we'll just switch it over. We just have to run your credit. And we're like, no, you can't run our credit. We're trying to get a mortgage. And even just running your credit could be a negative effect. Even if your credit's great, you could have a negative effect that your credit was being
That never made sense to me.
Never made sense to me either, but it's true. So it's like, no. So literally we've just never made the time to go back because it's not like it's affecting my life in any way.
No.
But yeah, if I get a bill sent to my house, it's my address, my mom's name.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Back
should be so much easier to change.
Yeah. If you switched carriers, you would have to get a new number too. But now that you can actually keep your number, which is actually nice. But yeah, back in those days, it's so crazy.
Oh, it was crazy. And then also for like the young kids, like a Sorensen who's on here, who I know is only like 14. For
little Jimmy from Nebraska.
When I got my cell phone, it was a Nokia cell phone, and it made phone calls. It received phone calls, and it had the game Snake on it. And that was it. It was not a smartphone. It was a very dumb phone. That was it. And I remember in 2002, summer of 2002, they just started coming out with text messaging.
Yeah.
And here's a fun fact, what kids these days might not know. You know how people text things like thanks, THX?
Yes.
And they do all the BRB, stuff like that. That's shorthand.
Yes.
A lot of that shorthand, some of it's just laziness. People don't know whatever. But a lot of that shorthand, I believe at least, came from the fact that you used to get charged per letter when you would text.
That, and you used to have to use one button for several different letters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd take forever.
Dude, the first time people started texting me, I got so much heat because I didn't know how to reply. I was like, what the fuck is this? People are sending me words. What, huh? I didn't know. It was like 2002. I didn't know what a fucking text message was.
You knew what text mex was.
Yeah. Oh, it's delicious. and gassy. But I didn't know how to fucking reply.
Yeah.
So people thought I was ghosting them or no-selling them. I was like, I just don't know how to. Please, somebody show me how to send a text.
I was in 2002, so I'm at my buddy Dave's house, and I've got my phone, and there's this girl that we're going back and forth a little bit, and I'm texting away, and he's like, and my buddy Jack goes to me, he's like, man, that's quite the investment over there, and I was like, well, I'm just trying to text whatever, and he's like, well, you're just texting a lot, and I'm like, well, I'm just writing a thing. He's like, it's like 10 cents a letter. I was like, oof. What? I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, and I don't know if it actually was like 10 cents a letter or if it was 10 cents per message or whatever. I don't remember exactly how it was, but all I know was we quickly went back to phone calls until the text message thing got handled. But
calm down there, Lee Marshall, with the rates and tell me how much. I'm Lee Marshall. Call 1-800. Blah blah blah.
Dude, my buddy Jack
10 cents a minute.
One of the last people to get a cell phone. He never wanted a cell phone, and he would just be like, and I'm talking, it's like 2004 at this point.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not, no leash on me. I'm not, you want me, you can call my house, you can leave a message on and we're like, dude, this is so like you just get it together, man. Get a cell phone so we can call you, so we can text you, whatever. Then he refused to do hands-free because he's like, I'm not going to, I don't need phone calls while I'm driving in the car. I don't need that. It's not necessary. He was very just like survive this long without answering the phone, so I got him at one point from Spencer's for his birthday that year. It was a plastic bag that came with a giant rubber band inside, and that's all it was. And in a picture on the top, it said hands-free, and it just had a picture of the rubber band wrapped around the person's head holding the phone up to their ear. But he, now he has he has a cell phone and everything, but I will say he is not on Facebook. He is not on Twitter. He is not on Instagram. He had tried all of them at one point. He used to be the editor of Las Vegas Magazine. So at that point, he needed to obviously be involved in all of, texting people, doing this on social media. He got off of social media a couple years ago, and I look at my friendship with him as like an example of what could be. Like, he and I will text a couple times a month, and every 4 weeks, 6 weeks, we get on a call with each other at some point. It's challenging because he lives out in San Francisco, so it's time wise and everything. But and I look at it and I go like for instance, he has no idea any of these things. Like if I'll post on social media, hey, dude, this this show with FITE or did that or whatever, he has no idea. So when we call, he's like, so what's up? How are things going? I actually like fill him in on things. I call him, hey man, how's I remember I called him, I'm like, so how's your girlfriend doing and everything? He's like, oh man, yeah, we broke up like a month ago. But I didn't get that notification of Jack's no longer in a relationship with so-and-so. Yeah. So like, it's this really, and I'm so envious of it, honestly. I hate social media, but except for when I'm interacting with the with Pod Squad. Well,
there's things I'm addicted to social media, kind of but just just certain things about social media where it's just like it seems like the only outlets certain people have that are just looking to argue or fight. It's just like people are just sitting there in like. It's like the beginning of a race when you're in the starter's position. Mm-hmm. They're just waiting for the gun to go off so they can go, well, actually, and it's just like, oh, God.
There's nothing I hate more than, and I love all of you wrestling fans. I, too, am a wrestling fan. I spent a cup of coffee in the business in relation to somebody like Meanie.
A cup of coffee.
Yeah. Just
the cream rises to the top. A little cup of coffee.
But I just, when people will just be giving their like opinions of like, well, that was okay, but I think maybe they've buried him with this, and if he had done, and it's like you're giving these opinions. It's like unless you're frickin' Al Snow on the other end of that keyboard, I don't want to hear your, and obviously more than Al. But the thing is, it's like. I'll give you, for instance, I'll see like on my timeline, like like Danny Cage from the Monster Factory will give an opinion on something. And then you'll have all these other people not having a debate, not saying, Danny, explain to me why.
Right.
But telling him, no, you're not right. And I'm like, okay, I guess you guys have the same experience as Danny Cage. Like, I'm like, look at him. Like, he popped into my mind because he's somebody I follow on Twitter, and I think, and he occasionally will, and he'll pop in with like a interesting nugget of like opinion or information. And if you're an aspiring wrestler or just a fan who wants to know more, those are the types of people. Take their opinion. Don't like people are giving their opinion. He looks
to motivate.
What's that?
He looks to motivate people.
Yeah. And then people just give their difference of opinion. I had this guy had this like argument with me, which I diffused the situation. And he ended up telling me like he respects me or whatever. Booker Man.
I respect you, Booker Man.
Yep. There you go. I beat you.
Pepsi.
But the dude was like, because I sent a tweet to Taz saying congratulations on Hook's debut. And I said something. And this is what struck me too. Like, I didn't even say that I thought Hook was good, which, by the way, I did. I did think Hook was good. Mm-hmm. But all I said was, how cool is it? Like, when was the last time that you saw a second-generation wrestler who managed to completely embody everything that his father was, including some aspects of his moveset, yet be absolutely 100% unique and different?
Yeah.
And that was all I said. And the guy like jumps on about how like, oh, well, I guess you're on Meltzer's side all of a sudden. Aren't you the guy who called him on his BS? I'm like, first of all, Dave Meltzer and I can actually agree on things a lot, believe it or not. I'm also able to disagree on things with him a lot. Like, that's what normal people can do. But, like, I just
wonder
don't get
how
it.
long that guy held on to that reply for.
I know, right?
He's like, he's just watching your tweets going, I'm going to get him one day.
One day he's going to agree with Meltzer, and I'm going to call bullshit on everything he does. But
yeah.
But hey, what did you think of Hook? While we're talking about it,
It's great. It's just a hybrid. He's a hybrid of his father, but like you said, he's his own entity. You know, it's just like a spinoff. He's a spinoff of like Larry. Like, you know how there's a show they evolved from another show or whatever. Taz was a wrestler, and he's evolved, from Taz, and he looks great. I mean, he looks like an Ultimate Fighter. He looks like he could be in the Octagon tomorrow.
he has the essence of Taz, but is totally different.
Yeah.
And I even love that. I don't know if you noticed or not, because I'm a weirdo when it comes to all this stuff, but the font on his ring gear is Taz's font.
Yes.
Which I loved. There's the little things like that, where it's like, it's not like he's coming out wearing the butchers at like the singlet deal, with the like he's not coming out there. Ironically, they have Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs is dressed more like old school Taz. He pays homage to Taz in that way, which is awesome because nobody's going to accuse him of being like another Taz. So he can pay homage to Taz in his attire. But man, Hook, dude, he was so fluid. He was he looked so freaking believable.
Yeah.
And what
like
a
I
slow
said,
burn,
he looks like
too.
he looks like he could go into a UFC octagon tomorrow and just be a badass. And he looks like a badass. He's a hybrid of Taz. Like back in the day, Taz was the hybrid pro wrestling version of a UFC fighter with the suplexes and submissions. Yep. And they even brought in Paul Varlins from the UFC to have a shoot fight with Taz.
Wait, that wasn't a shoot?
Well, it kind of was. When Perry Satter drop kicked him in his fucking head to make sure he did the job.
Oh, man.
Hook, is great. I was trying not to be corny and be like, he was off the hook. But, or pun, be a pun master there. But no, he looked great. Like you say, he looked fluid. There was no hesitation in anything he did. And if that's his first match, can imagine, the future's going to be, very bright for him.
James Sorensen says Hook is a lot more talented than MJF. I don't agree with that statement. I think they're totally different.
Yeah, I was about to say they're two totally different entities.
MJF is, like him or not, I mean, he has, personality like a ray of sunshine, but MJF is so freaking good at what he does and is actually really good in the ring. If you watch him for his age, he is really, really good. And man, I'm already seeing the headlines and stuff of like the 2024 bidding war over him. And that's a shoot. Like if I were him, I wouldn't go anywhere. I'd stay in AEW.
Right.
But WWE, if they don't try to give him a big money offer, they're out of their minds.
But you kind of see where he not played politics, but when CM Punk brought up, he's just the Miz, whatever, blah blah blah, and then like somebody asked him about the Miz, and he very politely said Miz is very talented and all that stuff because you never know.
Yeah.
If 2024, somebody throws enough money at you, I get it. Tony's a billionaire, we got it. But if they throw him enough money offer, I could see him going over there and being with the Miz or being, part of Miz's thing, starting a faction over there. Who knows? But that's what 2 years away. What 3 years away?
2 years away.
So yeah, we're on the cusp of 2022. So I was trying to do quick math.
Yeah.
But hey, I never thought I would leave ECW, and then he came calling, and not that ECW paid me what AEW's paying their guys, but it's business, you know.
Well, I guarantee you.
I mean, look at the deal they threw Kevin Owens to stay.
Yeah.
You know? He just re-signed and not resigned, like a lot of people posted. There's a little dash in between the re and the signed. He re-signed with WWE. Ain't good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Especially on the he'll make a fortune on the U.S. to Canada exchange rate. You know, so
I think MJF. I'm pretty sure, I might be telling tales out of school here, but I'm pretty sure that he signed like an extension at one point, because he is definitely making more money than he signed for originally. And good on him. I mean, I have seen people who they've said that, like, they went through, flipped through, oh, you have to watch some wrestling stuff, and they'll stop on him.
Yeah.
And that is, people just don't anymore, you know? But if he's talking or he's doing something, like, it's just, I don't know. I'm a big MJF fan.
The only thing I have on MJF is I just don't like his ring music.
I love his ring music.
Really?
It grew on me. In the beginning, I did not like it. It's just something about it. It just kind of works for me.
Yeah. And the dude who does the music for him does a great job.
Yeah.
But just, I don't know what it is about that song. Just, I don't know. But hey, look at me. You know, he's out there, and as soon as the music hits, people react. So
that's the thing. Yeah, maybe I think what happened for me in the beginning, I was like, this is kind of like, what kind of music is this? This is kind of weird. And then I don't know. I guess I just associated it with.
Let me see if I can bring it up here. Let me go on to YouTube.
Do it.
Let me try to convince myself.
Lil Jimmy says, we still need an AEW Blue Meanie action figure. How many more Mind of the Meanie action figures? I don't know how many more, but I think we're down to like 2 signed figures left or something.
Yeah, I got a handful, and I'll be at Icons this weekend. We're keeping on a Friday, but
you'll be at Icons 2 days ago, and
MJF theme.
Let's hear it.
See what this says. Let me see. This is off. I was trying to look for the official AEW one, but let's see. Hopefully this is. Oh, let me bring down the sound in case there's an ad.
Okay.
I don't want to give away any free.
No, if we're going to do an ad.
Nah, that wasn't it, was it?
That was like somebody made a MIDI version of it or something. Hey, while you look for that.
Yes.
Why don't we do an ad?
Let's say as they say, let's do it.
The fuck is that? Oh, man.
I feel like that little kid. You ever have a dream?
Oh, man. Hey, fellas. This episode of my...
I gave up looking for the theme.
That's fine. Regardless, this episode of Mind of the Meanie is brought to you by our favorite producers of ball trimmers, Manscaped. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming are leaving 2021 with new product. Clean yourself into the new year with their ultra-premium body wash. Also, special offer alert. Use the code MEANIE20 for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. 4 million men already trust Manscaped. Time to join them. 2022 is on its way, and the last thing you want is to be the guy with the pubes getting in your way of making this year your best yet. 2021 sucked, and that's why Manscaped is making a splash and upping your grooming game. Their signature Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take down every pube in its path. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent, functionality, and incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It's even waterproof. This tool is amazing, and I'm confident using the 4.0 to leave 2021 and my gross pubes with it. You know what else I'm confident about? Smelling like $1,000,000. $1,000,000 young bucks. You may be asking how, and I'm happy you did. I use the Manscaped Refined Cologne with the same signature scent that's in all Manscaped formulas. A great complement to your collection. Let's talk about being clean, feeling, and smelling good. The new Ultra Premium Body Wash from Manscaped solves all three for the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine. But in the shower, Meanie. I shower every day, and I hope you do too. This body wash is infused with aloe vera and sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. With Manscaped, you'll be a brand new man and ready to kick all the gross hair and smells out with 2021. Use code MEANIE20 for 20% off, plus free shipping at manscaped.com. I'm all in on confidence and smelling good this new year. Join me with Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code MEANIE20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Use promo code MEANIE20. Happy New Year to your balls.
The extra buh on the balls. On your balls.
Jimmy says, Manscaped, up your snowblower and go for a smooth driveway. I like it. Snowblow yourself into the new year. Can snowblow yourself be the name of the episode?
There was a couple doozies within the first couple minutes of this episode.
I'll just write down as an option, and we can look into that later. Unless you want to just call it "Please Hold," since I put us on hold for a bit of time. Yeah. So hey, you want to ask Meanie anything?
I would love to. It's time to ask me anything. Ask me something.
All right. Oh,
a little bonus. Bonus toot.
All right. We asked you on the Twitterverse to ask us some questions, and you did not disappoint, or did you?
I thought you were going to say, and you did not.
No, we got some good ones here. Let's
surprise.
As they say at the Willow Grove Mall food court, let's walk and roll. That is the name of a Chinese restaurant at the Willow Grove Mall food court.
I think they have a few of those.
No, I like to believe it's the only one.
It's your fantasy. I'm sorry.
Yes. Also, a unique thing that they do there that they don't do anywhere else. They stand there with like little toothpicks of things, and they offer it to you only at the Willow Grove Mall.
Only. I love the inflection. Only at the Willow Grove Mall. You sound like a fucking ad. Only at the Willow Grove Mall can you find.
I should do ad
selection
reads
of culinary delight.
Hey, right now I just got on my phone. Spam risk, Quakertown, PA.
Let me see.
Hold on. Here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Nothing.
Yeah.
But now they'll call me 1,000,000 times because I answered. I did that for you. For you, the pot squad.
Dude, I have a buddy who records his spam callers, and he shares them amongst our group.
That's great.
And he just tortures them. They're calling for something that he totally doesn't have, but they're pretending he has it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, let's do this. All right, I got time."
TJC, the Aussie Assassin. If you had any advice for an aspiring wrestler, what would it be? Hashtag Ask Meanie.
If you're an aspiring wrestler, and say you're not quite of the age to start training, do all you can to just watch wrestling a different way. And, shoot interviews are good, but, try to watch, some videos where, people are, there's training seminars that are out there on videotape. There's plenty of Al Snow videos out there of him giving advice. Start mentally preparing yourself for the business. So when it comes to the day where you're training, you have a leg up on your competition. And what I mean by having a leg up on your competition, even though you're training with people and you have classmates and all that stuff, eventually these people are going to be your competition for getting a job somewhere. And I'm great with everybody. I'm cordial with everybody, but ultimately I want to work as in the beginning. Now I'm a little bit more picky, but you want to work as much as you can wherever you can, make connections, and that's the biggest challenge starting out. Working as much as you can, making as many connections you can, make the right connections that you can, and be able to process and filter out, process in the good advice, filter out the garbage. Look at the person, if somebody's training you, see who else they've trained, who else they work with, check their resume. And not, and somebody who might not have a lot of followers or a big following doesn't mean they're a bad trainer. It just means that, because there's a lot of great trainers out there that a lot of people haven't heard about, what's his name? From the Good Brothers.
Carl Anderson.
Carl Anderson.
Yeah.
He was trained by a guy named Roger Ruffin in Dayton or Cincinnati or something like that. When I first broke into the business, I broke in with Al Snow. Al Snow hadn't been heard of, until, he started, breaking out with his feud with Sabu. Him and Roger Ruffin were in the same circle, and I did a lot of shows with Al, and Roger was on those shows. I worked with Roger a lot and learned a lot from Roger. And then when I found out, Carl Anderson trained with him, I was like, that was like our bonding. Like, hey, that's awesome. You train with Roger, but that's the thing. There's a lot of good trainers out there. You just gotta, do your due diligence, find a good trainer, and be the first to show up. When it comes to training, first show up, last to leave, ears open, mouth shut. But when it comes to questions, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. It's just a matter of, expounding on, maybe, whether it's expounding on something that you're being taught. There's some, there's asking questions, and then there's asking questions to expound on what you're being taught. Like, especially if you don't understand something, there's nothing wrong with asking follow-up questions. But just listen, take it, absorb the knowledge. Carry a notebook. Bring a notebook, write down notes, write down ideas.
Or your notes app. If you're not 100 years old.
Yeah. Hey, Shawn Michaels used to carry a notebook. So
I say, as I have right in front of me, a notebook and a pen to take my notes.
Yeah, but becoming a wrestler is a very daunting. It's just, it's hard. It's hard to know who to trust. It's hard to know who to believe. It's just a matter of finding someplace reputable. there's the day. I see people who are saying they're trainers, and I'm just like, really? And I coach people too, but I coach people on a different level than other people. I like to coach people who have gone through like the first 2 stages of learning bumps and holds and reform it. Yeah, and this is horrible to say. I don't know if I have the patience to go, okay, this is a wrist lock. Okay, this is a, Danny's good for, Danny Cage is good for, getting you through the bumps and all that stuff. And Danny Cage will get you in great physical shape. But, like, I like to get the guys who are a little bit along. Okay, this is your first couple matches. This is what you did. Here's what you can also do. That kind of stuff, I've been going back to the factory now for a couple weeks. And, again, with the holidays picking up and stuff like that, I need to get back over there, especially, he's got a good crew over there, and I had a couple really good classes over there. And I like to, watch the match and go in and say, this was good, but here's another thing. If you're in the same situation, here's another thing you can do so you don't fall in the trap of doing the exact same thing over and over again. And it's just wrestling by numbers. I try to, show guys how to, there's different ways, you could do math, 4 plus 4 equals 8, but so does, 12 minus 4, whatever kind of math.
Write that down.
Yeah. Yeah. There's different ways to get to the same objective, know.
Great question.
But, yeah, it's a great question. I love giving advice to people who are willing to listen. But then there's people who ask advice, and you give them the advice to go, yeah, but.
Right. It's like, well, why'd you ask?
Yeah, why did I just assert I was having this conversation with myself the other day. It's like, I hate that I'm getting to that point in my life. I'm afraid to have a conversation. Like, I'm afraid, like, I'm at this point in my life where I literally have to edit what I'm about to say on the fly because I just don't want to have somebody fact check me, like no worse than you're talking to somebody and they're whipping out their phone. Well, actually, yeah, it's like,
and you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie for the very first Mind of the Meanie t-shirt. Don't fact check me.
Yes.
It was that or I hate mustaches. I think they came out at the same time. But
I think they
don't fact check me.
Yeah, they're twins.
Yeah,
they were born the same day. So, yeah, but I'm at the point where I'm saying a sentence. I go, oh, is this going to lead to an argument? And it's just like, Yep.
Well, here's a question that could lead to an argument.
Yes.
Algernon at Algernon Rap says, as a fan, what would be your ideal tag match to see if you could pick any wrestlers throughout history, including any who never teamed up, if you'd like?
That's a fucking stellar question.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Because there's been a lot of, I would have loved to have seen, well, this is a tag match, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Nature Boy, Buddy Landell, teaming with Nature Boy Ric Flair as the Nature Boys against, I'm trying to think of who, somebody, I want to go Ricky Steamboat because, Flair's wrestled Steamboat. I'm trying to do my math out loud in my head and out loud. So I loved Buddy Landell, but he was his own worst enemy too. He killed so many of his pushes that he could have been a world champion had he not, goofed off. Buddy Landell, Ric Flair as the Nature Boys. I want to say Bobby Eaton. I always go back to Bobby Eaton.
Midnight
Bobby
Express.
Midnight Express or
And which one?
Yeah, which version? Midnight Express, or you could take Bobby Eaton and team him up with a Terry Taylor. Terry Taylor was pre-Red Rooster was phenomenal, and not that he sucked as the Red Rooster, it's just the character.
Yeah, he didn't have opportunity to put on performances. I think for me, if I had to pick, they're more like dream match things. I'm very high on FTR, on their work rate, as they say. I know you don't like that term.
Skill set.
I'm very high on their skill set. I think they're a great team. So to me, my favorite team growing up was the Hart Foundation. So I would love to see the Hart Foundation versus FTR, or the Rockers versus FTR. Now, I wouldn't want to see like the Rockers versus the Young Bucks. I don't think that would do it for me. Well,
let me think. Let me rethink this. Because we're doing different eras. I also don't think
Arn and Tully versus FTR would work. I think it would be too similar.
They would have been like a mixed match of a Four Horsemen, a potential Four Horsemen. A future and present day Four Horsemen. Definitely. Shit, Dudley's versus the Road Warriors would have been amazing.
Oh wow, yeah.
If we're going to talk about different judges, I was trying to think of dream.
Yeah. Scenario. There's no wrong answer.
Dudley's versus Road Warriors, or the old school sheep herders.
Yeah. Pre-licking. Well, I don't know. Maybe they still licked each other back then. Who knows?
Pre-bushwhacking.
And if you need to whack your bush, go to manscaped.com, promo code Meanie20.
Back in the day, I think there was at least one meeting between the Rockers and the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Rockers and Rock and Roll Express in Memphis, which was cool. And then the Rock and Roll Express wrestled the British Bulldogs on the one-off show, which was pretty cool. Just two styles that are similar, different, but like it still worked.
Question here from little Jimmy from Nebraska. Did any of you back in the day call any of the hotlines?
Yeah. Not the Mean Gene one. There was like there was a hotline that was always in the magazines, and the photo was this like big Jack guy with the ear receiver as his head. I forget what the phone number was, but like he was like, posing like this, but instead of a head, it was like the earpiece to the phone. Call this not hotline. And basically what the guy did was just read Meltzer's newsletter. The Ric Flair out with an injury from a potato shot from the Ultimate Warrior. It messed with his equilibrium. And I would sneak in. One of my teachers at school had a private line installed, and I would sneak in. I'm sure he knew it was fucking me. I'm the one pro wrestling fan in this fucking classroom. But, and a little secret, back in the day, well, you know what? I kind of lied. I had the backdoor number to the WCW hotline back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, where you call in and you can listen to all the voice, all the outgoing messages, but not pay.
How'd you pull that off?
Well, I guess I could let the cat out of the bag now. My good friend Georgie Ann Macropolis, who was, she wrote for all the newsletters, but she was like the head of the Bruno Sammartino fan club. She was always front row at the Garden.
Oh, wow.
And she had a wrestling newsletter, and she would do a report for the WCW hotline. She's like, well, if you want, you can listen to my report, and I would call it, but they give you the options to listen to the other ones too, So
That's awesome.
I would listen to the Madden line. I would listen to Mean Gene and stuff like that. So yeah, I listen to the hotlines, but on the cheapski, on the down low.
It's the only way to do it. Because
WCW WCW's not around anymore. And sadly, Georgie won't get any heat because she's no longer with us. So I can kind of let the cat out of the bag. She was awesome. Miss her.
Little Jimmy from Nebraska also wants to know, what's the best Christmas memory you have as a kid? Mine was sitting lonely as a Jew in a Chinese restaurant. What about you, Meanie?
What? You just made me think of the South
Park.
Song.
Yeah.
I'm just a Jew. Christmas memories. Just the magic of walking downstairs to a house full of presents. And there was one time kayfabe was broke, where I kind of broke my own kayfabe, where, I might have been like 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7, whatever, pick one. And I got out of bed, go take a leak, and I kind of snuck down the stairs and looked around, and I watched them putting the presents underneath the tree, and I walked back upstairs, went back to bed, and I didn't say anything about it. Just kind of, I was like, oh, so that's how it's done. Well, and went back to bed, and I didn't go, ha, I caught you. No, I
just wanted to keep the magic.
I kept the magic to myself, and that's what prepared me for being a wrestler.
Were they wrapping them, or were they putting them under the tree?
They're a little bit A, a little bit of B. They're they're wrapping them and putting them under the tree.
So here's pretty much what happened in a nutshell. Santa came down the chimney, dropped off all the presents for your family to wrap them and put them under the tree. Yeah. The dude's got how many houses to hit in one night? He's going to sit there. I'm sorry, maybe the elves were busy.
Yeah.
They couldn't wrap some of them. Yeah. It was a last-minute wish list thing. You don't know.
Maybe I was too needy. Yeah, maybe I was too needy and, asked for too much, and Santa had to get some help from my folks.
Yeah. Man. Really puts in perspective when you realize that your family was actually working with Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Man.
Keeping the kayfabe alive.
Another Christmas question here, which is, 'tis the season, right? Ringside Rant, at Ringside Rant, good friend over there. Has there ever been a Christmas present you never got for Christmas that as an adult you eventually got?
That's a great question. I don't think so. Anything like, the Ralphie always wanting the rifle and eventually gets it. I wish there was. I could tell you probably the worst Christmas gift I ever got. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was nudging me to get engaged, and I had no interest in getting married, but fuck it, I got her a ring and did the whole proposal thing.
Oh wow!
And like Norm Macdonald said, my girlfriend got a subscription to Bride magazine, and I renewed it for another 10 years. So I really had no, but keep her happy. So for that Christmas, I got her a ring, and for Christmas she got me notebook paper, disposable razors, and that was it. Just couple things of notebook paper and like a mini pad, like something Columbo would have been writing his notes on. So where were you the night of? Just a couple packs of that, a couple disposable razors.
You know what you should have done?
I looked at her ring. I looked at the paper. And I went, even trade off.
You know what would have been more or less the same thing, but so much better? Had she gone to manscaped.com, used promo code Meanie20, they would have given you that nice paper to lay out on the floor, and you wouldn't need those disposable razors because you'd be using the trimmer, the 4.0. If I'm not reading it, I can't remember. Oh, dude, I've got so many of
A
these
for effort.
things. I've got a 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. And I'm very grateful for it. That's because we've had them as sponsors for so long.
It's amazing.
And
they've
just
been
keep
very
getting-
kind to us.
They keep getting better and better and better. But wow, that's really something. So did you, was that like a situation where you open it up? She's like, here's what I got you. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Did you get the ring back?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a weird relationship. It's like I was in ECW at the time, and she would always go to shows with me and stuff like that. And there was one weekend when I think we went to Pittsburgh. Here's the kicker: I went to Pittsburgh for ECW that weekend. Come back, she's in my house in my bedroom, sitting there waiting for me to come back. Meanwhile, the night before was a Van Halen concert at the Spectrum. I wanted to go, but I couldn't go, but she went. So she went to the Van Halen concert, enjoyed it, came home, broke up with me.
Oh.
So I was like, I come home tired from a rough weekend at ECW. Like I got home like 6 in the morning. It's like, breaking up. All right. Here's the ring. All right. Bye. This guy, it was like the weirdest thing, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, all's well that ends well, right?
Yeah, there's so much more to the story I could say, and it would sound particularly just.
Hey, that's what the Patreon Zoom
Devastating.
calls for.
Yeah, I'll tell that story in a minute.
Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie.
Yeah.
Last question here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No. We'll say I'll save that for the Zoom.
Okay. Last question here. James of WSI Wrestling Shoot Interviews. Good plug.
Oh, James
Good.
Romero.
Okay, good plug ski right there.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I just did an interview. Nice little plug because he plugs us on there. I just did an interview with James Romero from Russia Shoot Interviews, WSI on YouTube. If you're looking for somebody who's very positive, who specifically does shoot interviews and very British, he's your guy.
Yeah.
So if he's shooting that question, this is very cool that he's
Well, he's saying, I forgot to ask you this one.
Oh,
So
okay.
What was the process of clearing independent bookings, wrestling signings, etc., with the WWF back in 98 and 99? Who would you have to approach? And aside from the obvious, like no working for WCW, were there any limits on bookings you could take?
Very well. Thank you, James. A lot of times, if you're, before they got real strict about bookings, eventually they wanted guys to just, not take into, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you wanted to take an independent booking, a Kevin Kelly would call you and say, hey, so-and-so and such is looking to book you. Are you interested to do it? Yes. Here's what we told them. Okay. And then you would just go work that booking, and then they would pay you the fee that the office told you. Now, there were promoters I was familiar with, like, Donnie B, Nova's brother. I could work for him. I didn't have to go to the office for that. I would just show up and do the booking.
Really?
And,
So there was never any, like, did they know, or was it like, because obviously there's no internet. It's not like it was getting. Right.
And so as long as I wasn't doing ECW or WCW, even though even if I did a ECW, I don't think they would give a shit and they wouldn't have cared. Like, after Taz and Dudley's went to WWE, I think they made an appearance at Queens, like in just a farewell or whatever. Or Taz came out and put over Danny Doring and Roadkill on the show in Queens, saying that he was proud of them, kind of thing. But Donnie B, he would just call me and go, "Hey, you want to work?" Sure. And it was, Donnie. I was working for Donnie anyway, and Donnie would always go to Kevin Kelly about bookings, booking WWE stars. He would book Val. He would book Eddie Guerrero. All the well, that was later on, but he would always book the WWE talent. Dennis Corluzzo would book WWE talent through Kevin Kelly or Cornette. They would just say, "Hey, you want to do this? Make some extra money? You want to do it? Sure." And you go and do it. But then eventually, they kind of start cracking down on that, and to discourage the boys from taking further independent bookings. They would book you through the office, but the money had to be sent to the office, and they put it towards, your pay, and you would have to report it and stuff. Yeah,
that's annoying.
Yeah, but
great question though.
Yeah, shout out to James Romero at Wrestling Shoot Interviews on YouTube.
Yeah, and again, that is at WSI_YouTube on Twitter. So
yes,
go give him a follow.
In the world where if you're looking for positivity and shoot interviews, he's your guy.
We just gave him an old follow from the Mind of the Meanie Twitter account. So
great guy.
Yeah, there's some people who do interviews that you don't want to support necessarily. So support the good ones. Support the good ones like this.
Yeah.
And while you're supporting things, support us over ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. We've got some great shirts there by the great and powerful Andy Slichter. Man, such good stuff there, including the one I'm wearing right now. The podcast faces shirt that I love. And man, what else? We talked about Mad Cat Beard Care.
MadCatBeardCare.com. Go over there and use promo code Meanie and save a couple bucks there.
Mm-hmm.
Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie /Blue Meanie /So Says Shernoff. And support us as a show or individually. And shout out to Slichter. He just recently did a shirt for me. It's a tribute to the Philadelphia Civic Center for cool. Wrestling. Yeah, I had one for the Philadelphia Spectrum, Spectrum Wrestling. But, we had great wrestling here for, the Crockett's. So, there's a Philadelphia Civic Center wrestling tribute shirt. Thank you to Andy Slichter at ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. And also, you can support us over at Cameo. Go to Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO or
Cameo.com/So Says Shernoff, the loneliest cameo of all. Go now. Be the first. There can only be one first. Yeah. So follow us on social media at Blue Meanie BWO and at So Says Shernoff. Of course, at Mind of the Meanie is where you want to be. Meanie, anything else for this episode before we rock and roll on out of here? We got to go celebrate some Christmas.
'Twas the week before Christmas, and all through Casa de Meanie. Now, seriously, it's the Monday before Christmas. I hope you all have a healthy and prosperous Christmas coming up. It's been a crazy 2 years, with everything going on with the pandemic and quarantining and, now we got, it sounds like comic book character versions of the Omicron or whatever, it's called. But we're going through a lot of crazy stuff. And I hope, for, this week and this season, you're happy and healthy and safe. And enjoy time with either your family or if you love being by yourself, enjoy your time alone. Everybody's different. Everybody's special in their own, different way. So hate to sound like that song, everybody's beautiful in their own way, but you are. And I appreciate you guys for being a part of this show. Thank you for supporting us, whether it's, downloading every Monday morning or if you're part of the Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie and watch us live each and every week. in person. So I know I'm going to have a special Christmas after we've taped these shows. Going to my sister's for an early Christmas with my sister, my niece, nephew, and then my grandnephews and grandniece, which is my niece's kids. And then we go to Connecticut for the Connecticut family with Mrs. Meanie's family. So I hope your Christmas is going to be as fun as mine. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Always wanted to say that. Meanie's right. It's been a rough year, so let's all just enjoy ourselves this holiday season. Be kind to each other. It's a fun idea. But everybody have a happy, healthy, Merry Christmas, and we will be back next Monday, just like every Monday, for another trip into the mind of the meanie.
Blue World Order.
The world of MLW radio never stops.